guys, and welcome to your foam roller stretching class today. So we are going to be simply doing like a self massage and a stretch for this video. So it's not a strengthening exercise, it's not a workout class. It is really focusing on going deep into those muscles to give you a self massage and to take a few postures where we're going to stretch on the roller too. Now your roller might be longer, it might be a little bit flatter than this one. So foam rollers come in all shapes and sizes. If you have got the little nodules on them, it's going to be more intense. That's a great word to use. So they will get into any knots that you have in your muscles. But if you've got a flat roller, that's absolutely fine. You can still take this class. And also if yours is longer, might be a little bit easier to do some of the balancing postures that I'm going to place you into today as well. Very important to remember, if anything hurts, if it's painful, please stop, okay? Because we don't want to cause any damage. I don't want you to do anything that's not quite right. Discomfort is a good word to use for this one, okay? So there will be areas of discomfort depending on where your body's holding tension, but sharp, sudden pains, please stop, ease off. And if you're still experiencing pains after, it might be a good idea to seek a sports masseuse. So go and get yourself a sports massage, okay? Right, let's get started. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place the foam roller underneath the shoulder blades to start with. So I'm going to come and sit onto the bottom and have my feet flat on the ground, hip distance apart. I'm going to use my forearms to bring myself down onto the roller first. So I'm going to place it sort of just by my shoulder blades. Then once you're there, take your hands, interlace them together and place them behind your head, because this is going to support your neck, okay? So at the moment, I'm simply leaning on the roller and my eye line is looking forwards, okay? What I'm going to start to do is work with the breath. I'm going to take an inhale through the nose, and as I breathe out through the mouth, I'm going to open my chest, take my eye line up towards the ceiling, peel the elbows wide. You're still breathing out here, okay? Hold this posture for your entire breath out, and then as you inhale, slowly bring your head back up and look through the legs again. Okay, so very important to work with the breath. It's going to help you relax in some of these intense postures. So take a breath in. As you breathe out through the mouth, open the chest, eye line looks up, support your head with your hands, take the elbows back, allow yourself to let go here, try not to hold back. So really allow your chest to fully open, your back to curve, breathing out and then inhaling as you come back up. So important to remember to move at your speed as well with your breath, okay? If your posture is very tight, this might be uncomfortable for you, or you might find this more into the lower back. Very important to work with the breath, to support your head with your hands, and to maybe, as you start to get into it, as you start to get a bit more mobile, a bit warmer through the upper body, you might be able to pause over here and stay here and work with the breath. So I'm going to pause here now, and then I'm going to inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, allow yourself to soften even further. Now, I know that is quite difficult to do in some of these postures, but really use the breath. Try and visualize your body curving over the roller. See if you can stay here for the duration with me, because it's great to hold these postures to really get the benefit out of them if you can. Slowing down your breath, but knowing that you can come up if you start to get dizzy, if you start to get a head rush, okay? Very important to listen to your body. Then I'm going to take an inhale, use my hands, bring myself up, pop your forearms onto the ground, bring yourself up to seated, take your time, and simply allow your body to curve the other way. So I reach the hands to the feet, drop the chin to the chest, allow your shoulders to soften, and allow the back to curve out the other way. Just a brief moment here to counter pose, okay? Now remember, the perk of a pre-recorded video, you can pause this if you need to stay here longer. But if not, I'm going to roll down now. I'm going to take the roller on the other side of my bum, because I'm going to come down onto the back. So come and lay down on your back, and then use your hands to place the foam roller underneath your bottom. So it's not on my coccyx, very important. Don't put it on that bony part of the coccyx. Have it on the nice fleshy part of your bum, okay? But the top part. don't have it too close down because you'll find it tough to balance, okay? So once we're here, let's just take a moment to settle. So allowing the forehead to just be coming up towards the ceiling, the back of the head's dropping down into the ground, shoulders are falling down into the mat. And then I'm going to invite you to straighten your left leg. Now, as you do that, you're going to feel your back curve slightly, okay? Be aware to have some control, activate through the core, but enjoy that moment of the pelvis tilting. And then we're going to take our hands, interlace them around the right leg and hug that right leg in the direction towards your chest, okay? It might take you a little while to suss out your balance. Don't worry if it does. Maybe if you want to hold the right knee with one hand and keep one hand on the ground, that might make you feel a bit more comfortable. But take a moment to ease this in towards you, to stretch out through the glutes, the bottom, into the lower back. Maybe you could take a slight twist to take your right arm out to the side and use that left hand to gently bring this leg over. Now you're going to be rolling more onto your left bum cheek here, okay? So you're going to be rolling more onto the left bum cheek. So you might find that you're getting that self-massage on the left bum cheek on the roller. You're pressing down into those pressure points in the glutes. But also we're stretching out around the lower back, into the right hip, the right glute. Obviously, you won't go as far into this posture as you would when you're lying on the ground, but it's a very different feel, okay? Lovely. Let's come back to center. Pop that right leg down. Bend your left leg, so both legs are bent. Then we'll readjust. So we straighten the right leg. Give your body time to adjust to this pelvis tilt, to open out through the hip flexors, down into the groin. And then once you feel ready to find your balance, hugging that left leg in towards you now. Remembering to work with the breath. And also acknowledging which side of the body you're feeling this more on. Is it through the left glute, through the right glute? Maybe it's into your back. Remembering you might want to keep one hand on the floor if that's better for you. Then I'm going to use the right hand. I'm going to bring that leg across the body. So my left leg is on the floor now. Now I just have to readjust a little bit to make sure I don't fall off the end of the roller. Okay. So I've got my right hip, my right glute on the roller, pressing it down, and I'm easing this leg across. Now we're all going to have areas that feel more uncomfortable for you or for me. You will find on some of the postures today that I will struggle. You might notice my breath gets a bit deeper, but just remember, do whatever you can and come out of anything whenever you need to. Let's come back to center. Pop that foot down, bending the right leg as well. Now lift the bottom, taking yourself off of that roller. Use your forearms or coming up to seated however you can. So we're now seated on your bottom. We'll do the right leg first, okay? So I'm going to pop the top of my right, underneath of my right thigh onto that roller. So it's not the knee. Try not to massage behind your knee, okay? So it's my thigh. I'm going to put my both hands on the floor. I'm grounding down through the left leg. The reason I'm doing single leg is if you've got weak wrists or you find it hard to lift your body weight, it's easier to do one leg at a time, okay? You could do double, but again, it might be a bit discomfort. You're going to lift your bottom off the ground and simply roll the back of the thigh down that roller. Okay, so you're keeping the bottom lifted. You might want to go right into the bum cheek. Try not to go all the way into the knee. Okay, very important. So left foot is simply on the floor, so it's giving me a bit of support. I'm pressing into my hands and I'm simply rolling my hamstring on that roller. Personally, for me, my hamstring's not too bad. You might disagree with yours. If you find an area that feels really uncomfortable, pause. That's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? But if you do find an area where you think, oh, I've got a knot there, pause it there and simply hold. Try and apply a little bit of pressure. Maybe you want to start to roll more onto the outside of the thigh, more onto the inner thigh. Depends what you've been up to, okay? And using the breath, very important, the power of the breath, breathing out through the mouth. Then I would put my bottom down. I'm going to change the posture of that roller, pop it onto the calf. Onto the calf here. Now again, try not to go behind the knee or onto the Achilles heel, that bony bit at the back of the ankle. Try and keep it on the fleshy part. So the foam roller is designed to massage out your muscles, yeah? Okay, so we really want to get into that calf. This one for me is personally a little bit more intense. Now I'm going to change the position of my roller not to make it easier, to actually make it harder, because I'm going more onto that flat bit and I want to go onto this really knobbly bit here, because I know that that is going to benefit my calf more, okay, being on that knobbly bit, because my calf is quite tight. So I really want to get into that. And then I might find a point where I go, oh, that bit feels a bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to gently hold it here and press my calf down into that area. So have an explore. It's very hard to set you up with this sequence, because obviously I don't know your body and I don't know how that feels, but I just want you to roll that calf into the foam roller and just to see how it feels. Okay, now obviously know that you could spend longer on that side, or you can come straight onto the other side. You can pause the video if you want to stay there, if your body feels a little bit better for that. And then I'm going to come onto the hamstring on the other side. Okay, so I'm coming onto the hamstring, so my right foot's going to be on the ground to give me a bit of support. With your wrists, if they're getting really tight, you could flip them over and come onto your fists, okay, if that makes you feel a bit more comfortable, because it just changes the alignment of the wrists. Or you could put your hands on a block or a book or something like that, just to lift up if that is feeling a bit too much, because you don't want your body to be worrying about the wrist pressure and taking your mind off of the hamstring, because obviously that's not the whole point, right? So pressing through this left hamstring here, rolling on the inside, on the outside, all the way up into the bottom, all the way down, but just not touching that knee. Yeah, using our breath as we do so, noticing how each side feels. And then we'll pop the bottom down. We don't just go straight into the calf, because obviously, like I said, I don't want you to massage behind the knee. If you've been doing lots of running, cycling, walking, this is obviously a great sequence for you. Foam rolling, how often can you do it? It depends on how tight your body is, to be honest. If you have got injuries, best to speak to a physio or a sports masseuse first. If you've just got tired, tight muscles, there's nothing to say you can't do a quick 5-10 minute roller every day, every other day. But just remember that key thing I said, if anything feels really uncomfortable or painful, like really bad, best to stop. Okay, right, let's come down onto the bottom. Take a little moment here. We are now going to sit onto our foam roller. So testing out your balance here. So I'm going to sit right up onto the roller, take the heels a little bit further away, both feet flat on the floor. You can hold on to something if you need to. I'm going to pick up the right foot and we're going to take a figure 4 stretch. So I've got my right foot on top of my left thigh, pressing that right knee away from you. So this is a figure 4 stretch, which is great for the glutes, which is your bottom anyway. You could hold on to something, or you could hold on to the floor if you want to. The only reason I wouldn't want you to hold on to the floor too much is I don't want the body to curve over. Okay, so holding on to a wall or a unit would be better. And I'm simply going to roll into my glutes. Okay, so for me personally, my glutes are probably quite tight, so this would feel uncomfortable. You might find that simply by holding it here in this figure 4 without moving is enough, and that could be great for you. Okay, but I'm going to simply roll through my glutes, just releasing off any tension there while still continuing to press that right knee away from me. Okay, so really opening out the groin, getting into the big muscles of the bottom. That is your biggest muscle area of your whole body, okay? The glutes, they are big muscles, and we probably don't give them a stretch out as often as we should, okay? Right, let's gently take that foot off and change sides. So I'm going to pick up the left foot, pop it on top of the right knee. I'll pause here first for a moment to allow my body to adjust. We don't want to force ourselves into anything too quickly. Trying to just press that left knee away to open out through the groin. Big breaths, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. And I start to roll gently into the glutes here. Really feeling, I can feel the knots as I roll through. I can feel the little nodules on the foam roller. And again, if you find a point, like a pressure point, like where you've got a knot in your muscle, because what happens is you get little knots in your muscles and you want to get rid of those knots so that they're not causing any issues. Okay, so if you find a knot, pause there and see if you can release that knot yourself. Otherwise, like I say, a sports masseuse will do that for you. Okay, let's gently bring ourselves off of this roller. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come onto our sides. Bum, bum, bum. So what we will do, I'm again going to do a single leg because a double is going to be quite intense. So I would bend my front leg, have it in front, going to be on my hand here. I'm going to lift my hip onto that roller and straighten the underneath leg, okay? Both hands can come on the floor here, and you're going to simply roll down your adductor, which is on the side of your thigh. Try not to roll onto the knee. You could just have one hand on the floor. You could have both. This is a point for me where I'd have to use my breath quite a lot. But you could have both legs straight if you want to. But I've got my front leg bent in front to make it a little bit easier to take the pressure off. Because for me, having both legs straight on this adductor muscle would be way too intense. It would be too painful and I physically wouldn't be able to do it, okay? So again, you modify. If you can have both legs straight, great. If you want to take a single leg with me, go for it. Can you see that I'm going a bit red? Starting to feel a little bit sick on this one. But it's good for me. I know it is. It's going to make my legs feel so much better. So let's take one last little roll here. And then we'll slowly change sides. So I'm going to ease over to the other side. I will need to take my mic out because it's in that pocket and it won't like that. So I'm going to come over onto the other side. Like I say, the underneath leg's straight. The top leg is bent in front to give me a bit of support on both hands or one hand down. Now you're going to roll down the outside of that leg. Yeah, so I'm rolling down. I'm not going onto the front of the thigh. I'm working on the adductor, trying not to go into the knee. Don't press it too high up to the hip bone. It's all right to come into the glutes slightly and using the breath as you do so. The adductors, we don't stretch these out as often as the other muscles probably, which is why these get a little bit tighter. If you have issues with your adductors, it could cause issues with your knees, with your hips. So it's very important to do this as much as you might not want to right now. But believe you me, I am feeling it too. So see if you can persevere with me. One more roll here. Last roll, getting right into that side leg. And then we'll all bring ourselves off. And you're thinking, every day? She wants me to do that every day. Hoo-wee. Okay, last bit. We're just going to work on our posture here. So I'm going to lay onto the roller. So I'm going to bring myself down. I'm going to have my bottom just come onto that roller. So mine's quite small. If you've got a long foam roller, this would be better because you would have your head on the foam roller. So if you've got a long one, you could have your head on the foam roller. I am going to have the back, lower back, and up into my shoulder blades here. Everyone would have both feet on the ground, knees parallel, okay? You might have your head on the roller. You might need to adjust, to wiggle. You can pause here, just allowing the back to curve over the roller. You could take your hands out wide so your arms come to like a T shape to help open out through your chest, your pecs, in case your chest is tight. This is a great one if you're working from a desk a lot, if you're driving a lot, if your posture is getting curved over. This is a really good one to help reset your posture. So taking a few breaths here, allowing the chest to really open up, allowing the back to find its way around this roller. Keeping both feet down, the heels are quite close to the bottom to give you some support, some stability. And we work with a few big breaths in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. One last time, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. To bring yourself off, I would gently roll onto my side. I'm going to use my hands to bring myself up to seated, and we counter pose like we did before. Seated, allowing the body to curve over the legs, chin to the chest, soften the shoulders, and allow your back to reset. One big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you are ready, just peeling yourself up, and hopefully your body feels a bit better from that foam roller stretching sequence today. Any questions about it, please do message me. If you're local to me and you need any contacts for a sports masseuse or a physio or an osteopath, let me know. I've got a few contacts that I do work closely with. But if not, hopefully your body feels a million times better, and I'll see you on the mat again soon.